Before I start this video, I would like to say that I'm not a doctor and everything what I say in this video is just my opinion. So always consult with your doctor before following any of my advice. Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about what could you do when you feel depressed or anxious or compulsive, or maybe you just feel that you're starting to get some kind of mental disorder and these things start to threaten your well-being and make a negative impact on your life. Sometimes it could even bother you to complete your everyday routine and such simple things as going to supermarket or brushing your teeth. I decided to make this video because I had a lot of questions in my Instagram asking me for some guidance. Firstly, I'd like to mention that you're doing an amazing job by noticing what is going on with you, that there's something not working for you well right now, and this all can be solved. Our modern life is extremely stressful and major of people experience some mental issues one day or another. I personally struggled with depression, binge eating, generalized anxiety disorder, phobia, and what else? There was something else. Anyway, it doesn't matter. My main message here is that I'm doing fine, I hope, and I learned how to manage most of my problems, and all these things can be solved. You'll be fine, especially if you follow these 3 steps, which are essentially important. The first step is to go to a good medical doctor and do full body checkup, because sometimes our mental problems could be caused by some diseases or lack of nutrients or maybe even allergies. And it's really important to exclude this cause first. So it could be tests for hormones, tests before the hospital like syphilis and hepatitis, and tests for allergies, tests for vitamins like nutrients in your body, and just general blood tests and other things. There is a really good book about it by Hyman. He's a doctor, and in his book he talks about how allergies and lack of nutrients, lack of vitamins affects our mental health. And it's really interesting. I really recommend you to read that if you're interested. And I don't remember the name, but I think I'll mention it somewhere in the screen and leave it in the description. Also, it could be useful to change your diet for a healthier one and embed more sports into your life, because the first thing recommended during depression or anxiety is to move more, because when you're doing some physical activities, you produce serotonin and dopamine, which are responsible for a good mood. So it could be some natural help for you. And the next step, after you did all your tests, you're going to a psychiatrist. And psychiatrist is a person with a high medical education. So it's basically a doctor who can prescribe you some good pills which can reduce your acute symptoms, and you'll feel better in a close future. Here I recommend you to stay in touch with your psychiatrist and share how these pills are impacting you, if everything is okay or something is not working for you there. That way you can always go and ask for a different pill maybe, or something more suitable for you. It's very important, and don't hesitate doing that. And as soon as you visit a psychiatrist, the next thing you do is you're going to a psychologist and you attend to psychotherapy. So psychologist and psychotherapist is the same person. He or she should have psychological education and minimum 60 hours of his or her private psychotherapy and minimum 60 hours of private supervision. So work with their supervisor. So from now on, it's important to work with psychiatrist and psychologist in tandem. Sometimes your psychiatrist could recommend you a good psychologist, or vice versa. So depends what step you made first from those. Psychotherapy is really important because yes, pills can be really good and help you, but sometimes it may not help you in the long term, because the main issue, like the main cause of your mental condition, is not solved. So it's still there. And sometimes you need to work on it, like work through your inner traumas, work with your mindset and all other things to notice that and be able to improve your life and change it. For example, you experience anxiety when you are in a crowded places, so you're trying to avoid going there. So in psychotherapy, you will actually understand and learn how to manage this anxiety without pills. So you will see why are you afraid of the crowd. You'll see what is so scary for you there, what makes you anxious, and that way in future you may develop a new skills which will help you to stop this anxiety by yourself, and you will not need pills anymore. Or depression, what is a chemical imbalance in your brain, but what actually causes this chemical imbalance is a big question. It could be a physical cause, as I said in the first step, or it could be maybe something from your life, from your surrounding. Maybe your life is a chaos and consists from a lot of negative events, or maybe you were traumatized or keeping on being re-traumatized all the time, and of course that can cause a depression. Or if you reorganize your life, change your mindset, learn some new healthy habits, then your depression would be cured. So there are always many reasons of depression, and we should try everything to find a real cause. Completing all these 3 steps will help you to solve the root of the problem and not just symptoms. To me, the best approach to work with such state as disorders is CBT, what means cognitive behavioral therapy. There you will learn new skills, and you will learn how using these skills you can cope with your issues, and you will learn how you can manage all these issues. And you may stop taking pills later. However, you never stop taking pills by yourself without approval of your psychiatrist. And as well, you never start taking pills by yourself. For all of these kind of pills, you always have to get an approval of the doctor. Never do anything by yourself. Even if you started to feel better, you think, oh, I found out the real reason of my issue and it's actually something from my life and I can change it, but you're taking pills, you can't just stop taking pills. So you go to the psychiatrist and you talk about it to your doctor. And now I'll tell you how to define a good psychologist. As I mentioned before, psychologists should have a psychological education, minimum 60 hours of private supervision, so work with his or her supervisor, and minimum 60 hours of his or her private psychotherapy. The standards could be different in different countries, so I recommend you to check it out before choosing your specialist. If for some reason you can't go to experienced psychologist and you chose someone who just graduated, it's okay. The most important is to make sure that this person is attending to his or her supervision, so that he or she works with their supervisor. Not like they attended to supervision 2 years ago, completed their 60 hours, and that's it. No, that they're going there nowadays, for example, once per week. Also, there could be free services in the most countries as far as I know, but again, I did not check, so you can check it out, depends where you are. Also, when you come to your psychologist and you mention such states as depression, anxiety, or some kind of disorder, your psychologist have to tell you or recommend you to visit psychiatrist. It's an important sign which you should think about on your first meeting with your psychologist. And or he or she can ask you if you visited psychiatrist before. And both professionals and psychologists and psychiatrists should support your work with each other. So psychiatrists should support your work with psychologists, and psychologists should support your work with psychiatrists. So you're working with them in tandem. And that's the most productive and helpful thing what you can do. That's all for now. If you remain any questions, please write them down in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was useful for you. If so, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I wish you all the best, and see you in the next video.